Very good evening to one and all. I welcome you all to the NCSI Classroom series. The topic for today's discussion is uploading academic integrity in scientific publication. We have with us a very esteemed, renowned speaker who is also my teacher. So, Dr. D.C. Mathangi is a PhD in neurosciences and she's presently heading the Department of Mind-Body Medicine at Ramchandra, Chennai. So, we welcome you, ma'am, to this session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks for this opportunity to be in this elite audience. And I love this topic when you've given it as uploading academic integrity in scientific publications. I don't know whether it was a typo error or anything, but I wish to take this further as well. Greetings from Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research and my Department of Mind-Body Medicine and Lifestyle Sciences. I just wanted to change a little. Upholding academic integrity, okay, instead of uploading academic integrity, right? That's a small modification that I want to make, because every time we upload our publication, are we upholding our academic integrity as well? I think there is a small slip there that we miss out. It could be intentional, or most of the time it is unintentional. I really appreciate this forum, the NCSI forum, for taking this up at the right time when publication has become mandatory in every step as we move up in the career. I wish to have a disclosure here that all images that I've taken are from the net, and I have taken some significant care that I have referenced appropriately, so that anybody who wants to take this further, to know more about it, you have the references that I have given with every slide. I think India woke up in plagiarism just recently. I should say a couple of decades only we woke up to plagiarism. We never knew there was something called as plagiarism. I would definitely say that when I did my doctorate degree, I didn't have any plagiarism check or anything to be done. But it doesn't mean that my thesis had any plagiarism, because we never had any reference that was online. Everything that we had was only a print version of the references. Literally, it was a hand-picked search in the library. So there was no e-search or anything. Don't think I'm from ages beyond, but that's how research was done in the 90s, I should say. Just the time when I finished my PhD, we did have the midline search, which used to come in the form of a CD for every year. So the chance of copying verbatim, like copy paste that we have, was very less. So we had to read the article and write it. So I personally feel if I'm going to run my thesis, it will be very, very less of plagiarism. But the minute the software version came, the plagiarism also started to increase. I've just put a big list here. I'm not going to read anything here. I've taken these big names here because to say that if they have done it, why not I? No, they didn't know that this was called as a plagiarism, or the inadvertently the student had done, and they had to take the brunt of it because they were the corresponding authors. There's always any legality the corresponding author needs to take. That's why this topic is not just for the students, but it's for the guides as well, who become the corresponding author for the papers that the students write. So we as teachers should also be aware of what plagiarism is, and so that we are able to teach our students not to do things, or if they have done, how do I identify it? Okay. So India really woke up because these big names started to come in the international forum as well. And some of these people lost their position because they were caught into this web of plagiarism. Okay. It could be. This is how C.N. Rao actually said, right? He said that usually I write the entire paper, but in this case I had gone through mainly the resultant discussion. He was just the corresponding author of the paper that his students wrote. Right? There have been number of research papers that have got retracted. It came even in newspapers. So, like why we are doing it, even our own doctors who are abroad have also become a disgraced doctor sometimes because of this plagiarism issue. Okay. How would you like your paper having this name as retracted? I think when anybody puts a search, our keywords get caught and our paper comes as retracted. I don't think any of us would like to have that because it will be there in any search engine that you put. With all the articles that come, even these retracted articles come up. This was the reason, this was a 2019 Nature thing, which same as cleaning up research conduct in India. Even yesterday, there was an article from Australia where they have said that it is from the medical NHMRC of Australia, which has said that how do we clean up or maintain this academic integrity? So that means this is not a problem of India, or it is a problem everywhere. Okay. Um, I'm not going to say the retracted papers are only for retracted because of plagiarism, but plagiarism has been the main cause for retraction. Okay. If we take the biomedical research by Indian authors, we have quite a good number. This is, I just took it for the sake of this presentation. There's been a scoping review that has been done on retracted publication from anesthesiology. Okay. So you can see that over the years, the publications have really gone up. The number of retracted papers have really gone up. And this article really went into to look into the reason why. And this is here, India, the number of authors and the number of journals retracted as well. Okay. I'm sorry. This was an article from the Biomedical Sciences where retraction has been there from India. They showed that the retraction is just going up, and probably now it is slowly reducing with people becoming more aware as well. And you can see that biomedical sciences as medicine is the law. And just for the reason that they have identified, there are a number of reasons. It could be duplication of data, okay? It could be lack of approval or errors in method, but falsification or fabrication of data or plagiarism of data are definitely there. Plagiarism of text, you can see that that's the main crux. Can you see the last column where we are more? Errors in data, duplication of text, plagiarism of article, euphemism for plagiarism of text. I think we are there in research, but this is not the right way to be there on the research, to be on top of plagiarism. Okay. I've just put it on a state twice. The state from which I come tops the list. Okay. But we have almost all of us are there in the list. Probably as the technology's availability is there, our plagiarism rate is also going up as well. Okay, this is one link that I saw. I'm sorry, the link seems not to be working. I'll just show it to you later. I've just put it on PubMed yourself. Retracted and anesthesia and India. You will see the number of articles that have got retracted from anesthesiology. However, only when you go into the depth of it, you know why it has got retracted. I've just taken retraction could be number of reasons, but the major reason is plagiarism. You can look into this article as well. Okay, this is from your own journal, Indian Journal of Anesthesia. Scientific misconduct and unethical practices in anesthesiology, stumbling block to quality research and publication. So I really appreciate the organizer for taking this at the right moment when this article is 8 years from today. Now, how far are we? Has our scientific misconduct decreased? You can probably do an analysis, and if not, this will probably be the right way. Okay? So what would be the consequence? I will not do this plagiarism, not just the fear of retraction, but there should be some consequence because of it. What C.L. Rao and other senior faculty did was, I don't know how many of you have seen, C.L. Rao gave a public apology in the national news, as well as it was a headline in the front page of the premier, almost all the newspapers as well. So there's a scholarly reputation goes down because it's a public disclosure. If I am not in India and I'm going to do it, it is lack of my professional stature as well, right? My grade goes down. If a student does it, the dissertation gets rejected as well. Does not get accepted. Some of the universities have taken up this. UGC has given this directive to the universities, like if a guide or a student of a guide has done plagiarism, the guideship is withdrawn for the next 5 years, and he cannot submit any proposal for any funding to any national agencies as well. So you can see that you're literally going down on your academic ladder because of just one fault of either yourself or your student on plagiarism. And depending on the level of plagiarism that we have done, even legal actions can be taken. I'm sure you would have seen even movies, people go for plagiarism as well, right? So this was the first editorial that I got to see, Plagiarism, a scourge afflicting the Indian sciences. It came in Indian Journal of Medical Research. And this is a beautiful article to read for everyone because it is really good. Though it might be 15 years, 13 years before, we are still there. You know, what are considered as plagiarism, what we should do, what we should not do, like that it goes. Okay. How people came to know of plagiarism is in 2008 election campaign, it was revealed that a speech given by Stephen Harper in 2003 had been plagiarized from a speech given by the Australian Prime Minister, right? So you can see that even politicians plagiarize. Can you see what the Australian Prime Minister has given? I've just put the colors here. As the possession of weapons of mass destruction spreads, so the danger of such weapons coming into the hands of terrorist group will multiply. See the same thing Stephen Harper has also said. See the way this plagiarism has happened. So plagiarism is not just for science, not just for people who are in the creative arts or other things. Anybody are doing the plagiarism, right? There's a Harper staffer quits over the plagiarized 2003 speech on Iraq. Okay? So what is this plagiarism? It is literally meaning kidnapper, okay, to steal or to just pass off. If we are going to talk here, it as a commitment of a literary theft, right? Somebody else's idea, I have taken it as my idea. It is just, I'm just putting my label over somebody else's idea. It is still a plagiarism. Somebody else's words from publication, I'm putting it without citing any reference. It is still a plagiarism, right? So there are a number of plagiarism. I think this session, I will tell what is plagiarism, what all are considered as plagiarism. But why do we plagiarize? I'm sure everybody has seen that on Teachers' Day, many people said that I thank my teacher Google, my teacher Wikipedia, or anybody, because you seem to be getting more info from them with a click of a mouse, so that you're easily getting it. But you think that everything that is available for free on Google is free to use. No, they are not. So it is the ignorance of fact that plagiarism is wrong. Easy availability of online resources, we think it is easy, free to use. Somebody gives me an assignment today to be given tomorrow. I think lack of time, so I just put it on the search. I think with ChatGPT coming up, you have everything at your click of your button. So you start to copy it without even knowing that you're copying it. Time constraint. Sometimes I feel like my creativity is not there. We have curbed our creativity right from children in the schools, telling that you have to write the same thing that is there in your textbook. Everything, even the mathematics steps should be the same that is given in your book. We have lost the creativity. We have literally curtailed the creativity of a child from our childhood. Now, how do you expect creativity when you become an adult? We need it when we're writing our paper. Or we all have one problem when we submit our paper to international journal. Please make a native English speaker read your manuscript. So I have a fear if my language is really good. So my technical language, is it good? So these things make me to just copy it from somebody who has written beautifully. Why not copy it, right? So what do I copy? I copy either words. I copy the structure in which he has put the review of literature. I can even copy the idea, even the authorship, right? Please watch your authorship. Sometimes I think what I have written in my earlier paper, I can copy it. I have the permission because I'm the author of both the paper. Even that is plagiarism. We call it a self-plagiarism. I happen to be an editor of one of the journal where I got a see from a very, very senior faculty. The publication was just the same thing that I could see on another paper. Only thing, the authors were changed. The country was changed, the city was changed, even the data were the same. Okay, so that means if you are a reviewer or editor, your responsibility is much, much more to see to it that you don't select such articles for publication when you're reviewing as well, right? So you will have to look into all these things as well. Okay, I just went into one of the resource, which is Turnitin, which is a resource which helps us to identify the different types of plagiarism or how much of plagiarism is there in a publication or even in my dissertation or in a paper that I'm writing. They've identified 10 major publication plagiarism that is being done. One is clone, like what I told just now. Just the same thing, only we have changed the name of the author. The commonest thing that we all do, Control C, Control V. Or what do I do? This is something that students do. Keep your mouse there, right click, see a synonym for the same word, and then replace that word. They think that that cannot be caught in plagiarism. No, that gets caught in the plagiarism. Or what do? I read 5 articles. Take some from the first article, put a reference, second article, second line from the second article, third line from the next article. Like that, I get some mix of multiple articles. Even that is wrong. Or what I have done it previously, I'm just recycling the same content. That is also plagiarism, right? I just go into some of the things that are there. This 404 error is the worst one, right? Almost like our 420 that we call in our police, right? I take somebody else's words, but I don't give them references at all. Now, some of the students think if I put it within inverted commas and put the author name, it will not get caught in the plagiarism check. No, it does get caught, but it wants you. You can't keep writing your entire thesis within inverted commas, right? So let's just see what are these types of plagiarism. Okay. Dr. Mathangi, are you there? Yeah, fine. Do I have permission to bring you the tab from here?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, fine. I'm just going to go to one. Just give me a second. I'm just going to the tab to show you where you have to see that, so that you're also clear, like you're able to understand what I'm showing. Mathangi, I hope I can show my tab. Just tell me if you're able to see my tab. Yeah. Is my tab visible?
Yes.
Shows set. Okay. I've gone into the Turnitin site. Turnitin is one of the most commonly used plagiarism site. So I thought I will show it to you directly from the site itself, so that this will be a good learning for the postgraduates. The first one is cloning. You can see this. Let me just go a little bigger so that you can see it. Okay, I hope you're able to see. The first one is cloning. Can you see the source text and see the student work? It is just the same. See, whatever is highlighted on my right hand side are the one that are copied from the original, which is on the left hand side. Okay, so this is called cloning. I've just did a copy, Control C. I've just copied verbatim here. Okay. The next one is the most common one that we all do is I take most of my text from one. I have one key article, beautifully written. I'm just copying from that article. Can you just see that I've just modified the title here and I've just inserted a couple of words in black which are mine, but the pink one is from the source article. This is a Control C kind of a Control C, Control V kind of an article. The third one It is a find and replace, like what I said. I just keep here, click, right click. You will see that in Word, when you're going to do it, you have the synonyms coming. Okay, so from that, I select a word from that. You can see that non-indigenous people, non-native people, that's it. Right? So you can see the way things have been modified here. This is find and replace kind of plagiarism that we do. The next one is remix. Something is from this article, something is from another article. Each one is from a different source. Have I given the references here? I've not given any reference here. I've made it appear as if my teacher has this article and I have seen to it that I have not copied from everything from this article. I've tried to mix multiple things together here. This is one kind of remix you can see. Okay. Next is recycle. I've literally used it. Only thing is that, can you see that non-indigenous? I've just put a different word here. Okay. Special, I made it as unique. Simple, very, very generously I'm borrowing it from the previous articles. Okay. Hybrid. Again here, I mix passages from different things, but I'm not citing it at all. Right? This is a beautiful site for you to learn what are the different types of citation. Okay, this is matched up. Even a sentence is not from one article. I have first half of the sentence from one article, second half of sentence from another article, and I intersperse one or two words from mine. That's how I'm writing it, right? Here you can see that I have given a reference, but I'm citing a reference which is inaccurate. I just want to say to students. Number of students now use Chat GPT for writing anything. Beautiful, Chat GPT, good. You tell Chat GPT, please give it with the bibliography. It will give you the bibliography also. That will be amazing. But just go, copy the bibliography, one reference of it, and check if there is an article in that title at all. Somewhere down, Chat GPT, none of the most of the, I should say, I don't want to make it generalized term, but to my knowledge, what I have tried, all the references that Chat GPT has given to me when I tried, none of the bibliography article were available online. Okay, or non-existent articles were given as bibliography. Okay, so this is an aggregator. You can keep retweeting your own references again and again, right? So I just wanted to show this site because this is a beautiful site for you to understand what are the different types of plagiarism. So Mathangi, I'm going back to my screen again.
Yes, ma'am.
My screen is visible. Yeah. So I've just told you all of them, but can you see that what are the most common that you see? You see the cloning, the Control-C, Control-V, and the mashup is very, very common in most of the publications that have been identified as plagiarized. This is the site that I took you through, the Turnitin, the plagiarism spectrum. I'm just coming to one more. Now, whatever I have told you now are all words. Okay. Now, this is another thing that has caught up where even images have been used for plagiarized. Can you see what has happened in this image and this image? This image has been rotated. I've just slightly adjusted the brightness and contrast. This is the original. Can you see the plagiarism, what has happened? All these things can get caught with the new with the latest plagiarism software that are available. Okay. Unintentional plagiarism is what students tell us most commonly. Okay, they have tried to paraphrase it, but they have not been successful in paraphrasing. They have tried to quote, but quoted only one of the author, but not quoted the other authors. Or sometimes I see an article, I read one article, the reference that is there in that article, I am citing it. I think without even reading that article, if I'm going to cite it, it will be like I am writing whatever this author one, whose paper that I'm reading, has written. His understanding of the publication too is what he has written. Now, for me to quote it, I should have read the original author too to write that. So my quoting is becoming poor and my citing is definitely inaccurate. So what do we tell the students? Read the article, understand what has been written, close the article, now write it in your own language. Right? I think that's the best way to not to plagiarize anything. And probably at the end of it, even though you have written it with your own words, but the content of it has come from this paper that you have read. So that means you will have to cite that author, right? So that citing is, I have only written, no, but the entire content was from that article. So you have to cite that article, but it is in my voice, right? That is what is unintentional plagiarism that students do. Okay. This I have already said, self-plagiarism. From my own article, I am writing it. No. If I have published in article 1, which I am going to use it in article 2, I am supposed to cite that article. It cannot be in my own voice now. Because my publication has become the copyright of that journal. It is no more mine. Right? Because we all signed that copyright agreement. I am transferring it to them. So I am supposed to cite that, though it is my own original words when I published article 1. So please take that as well. It includes even for flow charts, images. We always think I can take an image from any author and then put a reference. Worst part of plagiarism. Any image, any flow chart that you are going to take, referencing them is not sufficient. You should have got the permission from that author. We will write with permission from the author or permission from the publisher along with the reference. Because when they give you permission, they give you the permission number also. This is again an inadvertent plagiarism. We think here, I have taken this flow chart from this journal and I have put the reference under that itself. No, you're not supposed to put it. How can you copy somebody else's thing into yours? Somebody else has used his creativity to make that flow chart. That means you should get that permission, and with the permission only it should come there. These are all ethics, right? Ethics in publication. So that means plagiarism has a lot of moral thing into it. But now it has become a lot of legal thing into it because it is entering the copyright infringement. So what we need to take care of it is, let us look into the legality of copying, and also look, first thing is, my morale is really good. I write it ethically. Even I have 2 papers, it is good enough that it is mine. I take it with pride. I think that is what is required for us. Okay. How much plagiarism is plagiarism? I love this quote. This was a very famous Tamil movie I have taken, where he says, is a theft of 5 rupee called as theft? He says, no. If 5 rupee is being a theft by 5 million people, can you call it as a theft? Looks like it is a theft. That's what is plagiarism. I cannot keep taking I took only 1% from this journal, 1% from this. Add it. It is going to become, your entire thesis is going to be copied from 100 different articles. It is equivalent to plagiarism. Plagiarism, even 1%. Each university has have different levels of plagiarism. Some university have given it as no plagiarism at all for certain sections like results. Some universities have given overall what should be the plagiarism percentage. It could be 10%, it could be 30%, or it could be 20%. Each person, for PhD it is different, for PG it is different. So look into the guidelines of your university, how much of plagiarism is allowed. But if you ask me, I'll say plagiarism should be as minimal as possible. Keep it in a single digit, not more than that. Okay. So now this is what I said plagiarism is. It is an intellectual theft. This I have taken it from COPE. What COPE has said is, it is for publication, Committee on Publication Ethics. What they have said is an intellectual theft, intellectual sloth, or plagiarism of scientific English, or technical plagiarism. Can you see each one of it? The action taken by the publisher is different. If it is an intellectual theft, the worst one, I have seen in one of the institution where this was informed to the institution director research by the journal. That faculty was given a memo and his promotion was delayed by 3 years because he has done this plagiarism, which was identified by external agency, and it is a black mark for the institution. And that author cannot ever submit a manuscript to this publisher at all. So it is almost a ban of sanction on the author. But intellectual sloth or plagiarism or technical plagiarism, the paper is retracted. The what I showed before, retraction will come straight. So what do I do? That is more important, right? Whenever you use another person's idea, please look into it. Quote it as much as you can, if you can, within your own words, or try to paraphrase it as much as possible. So whenever we are copying, most of the plagiarism detection tool, what they do is they go for a string of 5-word minimum. So whenever you are copying a sentence, let there not be more than 3 words from that sentence, right? So that means a sentence minimum has 8 words. So that means the 5 words are yours. Only 3 words is from the original article, right? But still, please quote the source, right? You cannot say only 3 I have copied, 5 words are my own. No, but the idea is from the original article. Please copy it, mention the reference, cite the reference correctly. Okay. How do you avoid copying? This is what I said. Read the paper, close the paper, and write it in your own words. Okay. If you have a problem, please use like Grammarly or anything which can helps you in bettering your language skill as well. There are beautiful language editors who have come, scientific language editor. You can. So now, what is the general guideline that you can do? Are these words my own? If it is yes, fantastic. But if it is a no, have I used the quotation marks or have I placed the words in a block quotes? Okay. If yes, good. But if no, then you're plagiarizing. But if it is yes, you are not plagiarizing because you put it either within your quotes or you're paraphrased. And coming to this one again, initially you have said, are these my own notes? Yes. But please put another ethical question with you. Is it your own idea? If it is as fantastic. But if it is somebody else's idea, you are plagiarizing. So you can see in some of the article, they would have written, this is a personal correspondence or it is a personal comment given by so and so. You don't give the reference for it, but it is you're acknowledging the person who gave you that valuable insight. Okay. So, but if you are plagiarizing, please look into it. See, have you cited it? See if you can paraphrase it. Or should you get the permission from the author? Please look into these 3 things, which are very, very important. We have a number of plagiarism checkers now. When you submit a paper for publication, it goes into peer review, it goes to the publisher, and then it goes to an aggregator. This is the format. But what happens here when you have submitted and it goes to the editor? He first does a plagiarism check. And after that only he sends it to the peer reviewer. In your plagiarism check, if he is finding significant plagiarism, it does not even go to the reviewer, it comes back to you, telling that your paper was rejected. You're getting it in 24 hours, that means it is a plagiarism issue. Okay? So what institutions have done? In my institution, we have a publication oversight committee. Okay, now, I have to do a plagiarism check. All authors have to sign that they have read the article as well. Along with that, I have to send the manuscript to the publication oversight committee. Only, and I have to tell which journal I'm submitting as well. Only if all these things are passed, the publication oversight committee gives me the permission to submit it to an outside journal. Because at the end of it, the reference or my institution affiliation, I'm giving it my host institution. Institution reputation is in stake. So institution has taken these responsibilities as well. So what are these detection software that are there? There are a number of detection software. I've given the commercial as well as free, right? But most of the journals, if you take Scopus and Web of Science journal, use Turnitin and Authenticate. I like Authenticate because Authenticate captures even the smallest string. If I'm going to put CPCSEA, that is the Committee for Prevention of, whenever I'm doing an animal ethics, I'll have to go through the CPCSEA committee. Even CPCSEA, it identifies as plagiarist. So I will have to put it across like these are terms which needs to be excluded. So they excluded. UGC has given to all the universities the Urkund software, which is free to use, and all the PhD theses which are uploaded on Shodhganga should have been gone through this Urkund, which is a plagiarism detection tool. This slide would be useful for the postgraduates. Okay. If you need to use a picture, cartoon, graph, I've already said, just don't reference it. Please get the permission from the author. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put, you would have seen in most of the book, reproduced from, they would have given the source with permission of the author. And sometimes they give even the copyright number, which we have to put along with it, right? And once it gets published, please remember to send that article to the author who has given you the permission to use it. They will be very happy that you have used it as well. So authors are really genuine. They give you the permission. This is the most common problem that everybody thinks. Public domain, a big confusion. Anything that is there in public domain, it is free to view, not free to use, right? So please keep this in mind. It is free to view, not free to use. I, as a teacher, can use it in my classes, which is only inside the classroom. But the minute I'm going to put it on the Moodle or any of the platforms, I should take care that I am putting my references at the end of every slide. Right? It cannot go on a public domain without citing it, even my class lectures. When taking matter with internet resources, please make sure that source you're referring to does not contain something that has been plagiarized somewhere else. Let's say I have plagiarized and you are copying my text. So it will be like, I am thief one, you are a thief two, robbing from thief one. So both of us will get caught, right? You can't say you copied from me. You are equally a thief copying it from me, right? So we should definitely take care of it. There's something for the supervisors I wish to say. It is very, very easy. You're seeing the language of your student who is writing it. Suddenly you see the language is amazing. Please see, is it a copied one? Right? It is easy. Just copy that and put it in Google. It will definitely show you from what's the original source in itself. Right? Suddenly you find it. It is very easy. Sometimes the students copy it, but don't change the font also. So with that also you can identify that they have copied. Sometimes you see the text is there with the reference 57, but the entire dissertation, the total number of references the student has put is only 32. Where did that 57 come? So that means that line has been copied from some other article and pasted here. But the best one, number one, would be the teacher has to use a plagiarism checker. Look into the tone in which the student is writing it. There is inconsistency of the tone, the font, the content are sometimes inaccurate, the lack of consistency in the way it has been written itself, right? So please watch out on this list for the supervisors. We will get caught when a student does. This screenshot, I've taken it again from the journal site only. There are a number of plagiarism detection tools. I've just put a star on Authenticate and Turnitin, which are the best. I'm sure many of the students use Grammarly. Only problem with Grammarly is you will have to copy only a set number of words only, 500. Copy, paste it, copy, paste it. Let's take you have done it, you have corrected it. But what you have put is already in the repository. Next time you put your text which is modified, it will tell us 100% plagiarized. Right? Watch those things as well. When it is free, comes with something else as well. Right? Now, how do these softwares identify that yours is plagiarized? If we know this, I think we will not do that. Number one is the fingerprinting. The flow of the review of literature looks like somewhere I have read it, right? That is the fingerprinting. Or the next one, it goes into the commonest one is the global similarity assessment. The terms, the sequence of reference seem to be very, very similar, right? The way the citations are being done, the style of writing, the subheadings that he has chose, everything seems to be identical. This is the way that it identifies. Substring match. I said the 5 words. That's the way it does it. Minimum is 5 words. Now, colleges have modified it into 8-word string, right? Fingerprinting, the bag of word analysis or stylometry, or the citation based plagiarism. My reference sequence is very similar to that already published one. That's the way they are identifying it. So please don't do any of these things when you're writing. Right? Again, putting the same one. Now, how does these authenticate or turn it in GIF? It identifies. Let's take it as identified it. It marks it here 6. Can you see the color code here? See the color code 6 here. It is given from where it has been copied. So it is so easy. This has been taken from this article. This has been taken from this article. Like that, it gives you a complete page of it. Where and all you can see this. Entire page is copied. Right? This is almost like a mosaic plagiarism. Line 1 from this, line 3 from this, line 4 from this, right? See how nicely the detection software. The beauty of it is the color code. See here the color code orange for 5. It's also orange color code 5. Green 2, green 2. Right? It gives you complete. This is how it marks the text. At the end of it, it says where and all the matching has been. Right? Now, whether you have robbed a material or robbed intellectual material, now the fine is the same. So both are theft, right? So please take care of it. Avoid plagiarism. So take home, attribute the references, describe all sources of the information that you have taken. Give the acknowledgement, provide it in the footnote, even if you've taken a table, taken a flow chart. In the footnote, you're going to give with the permission of so and so. Use quotation mark whenever it's a definition or you want to verbatim quote somebody, please put it within inverted commas. But don't make your entire dissertation with inverted commas. Paraphrase. Please learn to write it in a passive voice with your word, your thing into it. Okay. For an extensive quotation, please get the permission from the publisher of the original work. Okay, only one line, it's okay. Extensive, you have to take it. Avoid self-plagiarism also and obtain permission as much as possible. Use this plagiarism detection tool. So what as teachers, what as student, first-time writers, what we need to. The first time I'm going to write, I will be completely original. Please take it as a mantra to yourself. Because the first time the mistake you do it, you will carry it forward for your life. The initial phase itself, don't copy, make it original. Avoid plagiarism as much as possible so that we uphold our academic integrity. Even this image is from the Authenticate. So what is required as a researcher? Definitely, it is the honesty. We need to trust each other, fairness, respect, responsibility, and the courage to take the ownership like this has taken from us, right? So we need all these things whenever we are doing our research. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that extensive, very lucid presentation. So I think every time we upload an article, we need to uphold the integrity of the publication, and the information which provided over the last 45 minutes will ensure that integrity too. There is one question in the chat box. What's the relationship between AI apps like ChatGPT and Grammarly, etc., and plagiarism?
Very nice. Very nice. And I just wanted to show this as well. Let me just see if I can open this also, because ChatGPT has become the norm now. Everybody seems to be using the ChatGPT. Now, people think that when I'm using ChatGPT and include ChatGPT also as an author, I get scot-free. No. ChatGPT has, you have a software in the plagiarism detection tool. They have got it caught as from ChatGPT as well. You're taking it from ChatGPT, but please try to paraphrase it again, number one. But before you even paraphrase, please verify the authenticity of the content. Right? Please verify. As I already said, the bibliography that the ChatGPT gives is wrong. So don't use the ChatGPT. Now, AI is the AI which even these plagiarism detection tools are also using to identify whether your text is plagiarized or not. So you cannot fool it for long. I would say for long now, because still ChatGPT is being used by a number of people and some of the detection tools are not handling it. But I'll just say like one important thing, the authenticate and turn it in, which I said are the best plagiarism detection tool, they are all paid. Even number of journals don't use either of them. Probably you can publish in those things. But if you're going to go into journals which are high impact or highly indexed journal, they go for these two and they get caught. So try to avoid anything that you're using. It is for understanding. So once you get to know that it is there, now try to see the original source and try to identify it. I think I will go with that only. I hope I've answered it satisfactorily.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Once again, on behalf of NCSI, I would like to thank you for this presentation and hope to have you on many more forums. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Best wishes.